Hello. In this session, we are going to do a walkthrough of the Jupyter Notebook as we try to gain some skills and to get ourselves accustomed to the whole environment as we prepare ourselves for the machine learning techniques. So what we intend to do is basically we want to see how you can install some packages into your environment, also change the theme, show some cell numbering, interrupt the kernel, heading formatting, text formatting, list numbering, loading images, and the table layouts. These are basically the skills that you will need as you are working in the Markdown as you try to make your Jupyter Notebook look more professional with some notes, some images, so that it becomes more informative. So let's get started. We are going to load our Anaconda prompt. So in this session, my assumption is that you have already installed your Anaconda on your machine. If you have not installed and you are not so sure how to do it, please check my previous video where I looked into setting out Jupyter environment using Anaconda. So let's start. You start by searching your Anaconda. And you select Anaconda prompt, and by default your Anaconda loads with the default base environment, also coming from your C hard drive or partition of your hard drive on your computer. And in my case example there, you will find that my machine is partitioned as the two partitions, the C disk and also the D drive. So I'm going to shift Anaconda from running from C into D. So to do that, I'm just going to say D and full colon and then enter. Then it takes me out from C into D. And also, I'm also going to move out from the root of the hard drive. So I'm going to do change the directory to Python workspace, and also I got a directory called beginners tutorials. So that's the directory, the folder that we are going to save our files into. So I'm going to press enter. And as we learned from the previous previous lecture, we can always check to see the environments that are already installed, created on our Python kernel. So to do that, we are going to use a conta environment list, and that's our list that we have there. Now that we have, it shows and demonstrates that we have got the base, the CAD Pro project, the demo, machine learning, and the notebook file as our environment that we have on our machine. And the asterisk there shows that the base environment is the one that is active. So we are going to change from base to notebook demo by doing conta activate notebook demo and press enter. So now we have managed to move out from then the base into the notebook. So from there now we can launch, and it's going to launch into our default browser. So let's launch into our default browser by calling JupyterLab. Okay, so we have our JupyterLab launched. So now that we have our JupyterLab launched, the advantage of using the JupyterLab is that it gives you the terminal or the command prompt to continue to operate from, and also it has got various advantages that you can always gain from using it. So let me walk you through from the file there. You are able to launch a new notebook or even the Markdown file or the Python files. And it also gives you advantage to also, you can always save your document, or you can always export your notebook file for sharing with other members or downloading as a PDF document. And from the edit there, you can always do all the editing functions. I want to concentrate on in terms of the viewing there. You'll find that when you are operating, you can always change, add your show numbers. We're going to look into adding show numbers there for the benefit of referring to a certain code in a cell. And also you can run your cells using these functions, positions where you want to run a selected file, or you can use the Shift-Enter command, or you can run cells that are above one cell or that are below one cell. So let's just launch our kernel. There, right? We launch our script, which is our notebook, and as you can see there, we have got a cell, and now that we have got a cell, we can always now go back to the kernel. Now it has got all these functions working. There are situations whereby when you are running your kernel down and you execute a certain cell, you find that it continues to run for a long period of time, maybe due to an error or maybe to a fault inside the kernel. So what you want to do is, you don't want to go to the cell that is executing. You click on it and then you go to kernel, and then you interrupt the kernel, that is to stop the kernel from executing, so that you can restart working in your platform. Okay, so let's just walk through step by step. So first we rename the file. Let's say lesson 2. So we have renamed our file to lesson 2, and let's say there are some who say they would want to change the theme. Okay, so I'm using a dark theme. You go to the settings there, and then you go to JupyterLab Lite. You click on it, it changes to a lighter version, which is similar to the default of the notebook, Jupyter Notebook. So I prefer to use the dark theme, so you can always go back and change to the darker theme. And now that we have started, you also see that you can always click on the save to save your file as you continue, but by default the Python 3 kernel will always automatically save its work. Then you can always click the add sign to add the cell, okay, or you can just move down your arrow and click it automatically adds. And you can always cut a cell to paste it somewhere else, and you can also copy a cell so that you can paste it to another option. And then we also have got the run and the stop, which are there to run a cell or interrupt the kernel, or you can then use these functions to interrupt, or sometimes you end up in an infinite loop and you really want to shut down the whole kernel. You just go and shut it down, then you restart to launch it from the anaconda prompt. And when you are working with your Python, you have got two types of cells that I'm going to talk about. The one is the command where you write any information that you write there and you execute. The Python interpreter is going to then execute and try to make sense out of the cell. And the other one is Markdown, which is just a way of putting in text into your notebook file. And this one's not going to be executed. It's going to be left alone as just simple text. Or else you would want to put some comments in your code to make sure that it is readable to other users. So let's look into headings. So for you to put headings, what you do is you make use of the hash, and the headings you making use of the hash goes up to this 60 level. So if I say hash heading, then I go hash heading. Again, let's put the hashtag. Heading like that. And if I'm going to execute this cell while it is still in the code type, everything that I've written there is going to be read and interpreted as comments inside the code. So if I am going to say run, you can see the cell has already been executed at position 1. And nothing has been able to be produced out of it because everything that is there is being interpreted as comments of the code. And one more thing is that when the cell has got no number there, it means to say it has not been executed. And while some cell might take some time to execute more than others if there's a lot of functionality in it, and when it is executing, it will put an asterisk inside there, the square brackets there. It shows that that's the cell that is being executed, making it easier for you to then go on the cell that is taking longer to be executed, click on it, and then you interrupt or you shut down or restart the kernel. So let's go back to our cell at 1 there, and now let's change to Markdown format. You see that in Markdown format, the cell will not be executed, so the square brackets have already been removed to show that it's not going to be interpreted by the kernel. So we execute the cell. You see that that's how it does. The first heading that had one hashtag there is more bolder than bigger in size than the other headings there. That's how you would want to work around when I'm putting in subheadings inside your notebook file. Let's look also into let's say text formatting. Okay, let's change that into a heading. So you can always click to add more cells. Text formatting, let's look into let's say bold. How would you bold words for emphasis? You say I want to bold the word. Okay, so if I change it to Markdown and execute my cell, so you can click the cell or you can use Shift Enter as a shortcut. So that's how it appears, and we would want to bold the word bold. So to do that is I have to put some italics. Let's add 2 at the beginning and at the end like that, and then we execute the cell. You can see that this word now has got a bold. So you can also do that to italic. You execute, so I want to fishing. And let's say we want to change this. Instead of double italics, we then want to put one and change it to Markdown, and then you execute the cell. You see that fish has been changed to italic format. Let's also look into list. Let's say list formatting. List. And change that. Okay, so we can have an ordered or a list, and to do that we just want to say put one italics and then say list, put one list, okay, like that. Change that to Markdown and you execute. That's how you can create your list. And we can also change the levels of the list, add some sub list. So this is sub list, change that to Markdown. And so we can start with list 1 or level 1, let's say level 1, and then we put a tab, and then we do another list. Let's just change the type of the list into the number format, and then we say list level 2 tab 2 dot, then you go list level 3. We go back to the original level 1 and say list level 1, and then we change to Markdown and we execute the cell. You see that we now have a list with different levels or sub levels. You can also add a line, a horizontal line. You can also add a horizontal line, and to do that you want to put 3 italics, and then you execute. Okay, we have to change that into Markdown, and then you run the cell. It gives you a horizontal line. Let's also look into loading image. Okay, change that to Markdown, execute the line. So for us to load an image, what you want to do is you put that exclamation mark, square bracket, then open and close the brackets, round brackets. So inside the square brackets there, you want to put in more of the title of the image. In case that the image fails to load, it's going to output the text or the title of your image. So let's say Margot check up. That's what's going to be displayed in the event that kernel fails to load an image. And then we are going to load logo.jpg. So we are going to load this image there into our kernel. So let's execute the code. So this time we want to execute. This is a code, so we're not going to change it to Markdown since we want to load it. So let's execute the code. Okay. It's not recognized as internal code. Sorry, let's change that to Markdown. Okay, so we change that to Markdown, then loads the image. Okay, and what else can we do? Let's look into maybe table layout. Change that to Markdown. Okay, right. And we are going to do a simple table. So what I'm going to do is I want to create 3 columns. So I'm going to use this straight sign, and I'm just going to copy that, paste it like that. Okay, let's make another 4th one. So I'm going to say ID as the first here column name, which is titles, and let me say name, maybe let's say fruit, and let's say maybe active, and in there I'm going to put that to show that that first one is a heading, and then say this one is number 1, and this we have got an orange, and we say maybe yes, we have got 2, and we have got banana, let's say no, and change to Markdown, and then we execute. So you're going to end up with such a nice, beautiful, colorful table. So what else can we look at? And numbering, when you are dealing with a cell in a code format, you might want to say variable A assign to variable B assign 4, and then you might then want to say C assign A plus B, and eventually you want to print out C. So we are going to leave this into code format, and then we execute the cell, and if they run, we get our answer A plus 4 is equals to 6. So that's how it comes out. But in terms of your presentation, maybe you want to refer to this line there. It becomes very difficult for you to explain it to other members. So for you to be able to do that, what I prefer to do is then I want to go to view, and then I go and show line numbers like that. So now you can see that it has added some line numbers. So now I can be able to say that the cell that has been executed at position number 4, when I'm looking at line number 4 or line number 2, it makes it easy and readable, and also to share and to explain as a team. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what wraps up this session. Thank you so much. I hope you like this YouTube, and also subscribe to make sure that you continue to receive more tutorials that we are going to be uploading to this channel. Cheers.